What's up, everybody? So this is part two video of important tips for difficult breakups. The first part we talked about what did we talk about in the first part? The important thing is what we're going to talk about in this part, right? So in this part, we're going to talk about journaling. The first part was all about no contact and the art of self-love, which basically is the art of self-focus, the art of putting blinders on and focusing on your goals, your journey. No contact is a big part of that. No contact's kind of like the blinders. And yeah, so we went through steps 1, 2, and 3. And in this video, we're going to talk about part 2 of going through breakup, which is journaling. Super powerful. Actually just had a session with one of my clients right now, and we went through some journaling techniques. And yeah, very, very powerful, and it was a really good session. He was able to come up with some really good understandings and putting into practice, implementing journaling. So let's talk about this before you get bored and turn off because journaling sounds really boring. Let's talk about what exactly journaling, when I talk about journaling, what I mean by it. Basically, the way I look at it is mental strength conditioning. Okay? So your mind is like your body, it needs to be worked out. Okay? If we let the mind just kind of, if we neglect it, it's going to most likely be spinning and leaning in a negative way. So most, if not all, of our suffering, emptiness, when you're depressed, when you miss your ex, when you're lonely, when you're angry, when you just can't do anything except for just think about them and miss them, it's all thoughts, right? So all those emotions that we feel are because of the thoughts. So thoughts are super powerful. And we can shape and mold our mind using words. So when we journal, when we write affirmations, it's sort of like mental push-ups, and we can direct our mind in whichever way we choose to, based on the words and the affirmations and the type of journaling we do. So the two styles of journaling that I focus on with myself and with my clients is, first and foremost, really simple, which is to write down before you go to bed every night in your journal 3 things that you're grateful for. Now, I like to word it in this way, and I highly recommend you word it in a similar way, or if this works for you, use the same way that I do it, which is I start off with, I'm so grateful and thankful for. And the reason why I start off with that is because what you're telling yourself is that you have those things. You are those things. So there's some law of attraction coming into this, the way that I have adapted my journaling incorporates a lot of different things, including law of attraction. And the way that law of attraction is incorporated in this is because when you say, I'm so grateful and thankful for, you're basically telling yourself you are the things that you're about to list. So if I say, I'm so grateful and thankful for the energy and the power within me that grows each day, that's generated within me each day, that fills me and leads me to greater confidence, greater self-esteem, greater power, greater happiness. When I say that I'm I'm grateful and thankful for that energy and power that I have in me, my mind is being conditioned to believe and understand that I have those things within me. Okay? Now, if anyone out there doubts the power of beliefs or thoughts, I'd love to just very quickly talk about the placebo effect, which I've talked about in my other videos. Placebo effect is when doctors give you just a sugar pill. There's no medication, no medicine. It's just a pill, and they'll say, "Here is the medication that we've prescribed for you. This is super powerful. This is going to heal you." And there is documented research, scientific research in placebos and the placebo effect and how people can be cured simply because they are believing that they're being cured. Okay? For many years, actually, the doctor was a placebo because you'd go into an office and you'd just believe whatever this person would tell you because you have so much respect, and it still happens today. People will go to a doctor and the doctors can be very powerful. They even did, I remember watching a 60 Minutes a few years ago about the placebo effect, and they did a really interesting piece of research where they did a placebo surgery, where they actually, someone had an issue with their knee or ankle, and they took this person, they put him in surgery, they opened up the knee, but they didn't do anything, and they closed it back up, and at the end of the surgery, told this person that their operation had gone really well, and that they're going to fully recover in a few weeks. And they did. So there's a lot of examples of this. I mean, Mother Teresa, who was, she was sainted, right? Saint Mother Teresa. She was given the saint, and the reason that you would get that is that you need to perform a miracle. And there was a lady, I believe, who visited Mother Teresa and became healed of, I can't remember what disease it was, but she had a really bad disease, and just meeting Mother Teresa healed her of that disease. Again, it's not magic, it's not a miracle, it's just believing. And you see people that they go to these religious, huge religious gatherings and ceremonies in the States where a preacher will touch their head and be like, "You're healed." It works for some people because, again, they believe. And this is why I never question anyone's belief. If they are Christian, Muslim, Jewish, atheist, I never question it. I never say, "Oh, this is wrong, you shouldn't be into religion, blah, blah." No, because what you believe is so powerful. And this is why religions can be so powerful. Because if you believe, what you're doing is going to have a certain effect, if you truly believe it at an instinctual, deep, subconscious level, like truly believe it without any doubt, then you'll manifest these things. So this is why words and journaling is so powerful, it can be so powerful. Okay, and when you start off, you're grateful. So there's two journaling techniques I'm going to talk about today, just to recap. First one is writing your gratefuls. Second one we'll go into in a second, which is counterbalancing negative thoughts. But when you're writing your gratefuls, start them off with, "I am so grateful and thankful for my health. I'm so grateful and thankful for the loving family that I have. I'm so great." So don't get lazy and miss out the "I'm so grateful and thankful." Some people, they just will put health or "had an awesome day today." No, write it down, because you're mentally rewiring your mind to believe and realize that how much you have. And the more your mind is trained to remember how much you have, the more your confidence grows, the more your mental positive way of thinking grows. It's just an amazing, very simple practice, being grateful. So every night before you go to bed, if you do just one thing out of all the videos that I do, which is to do just 3 things that you're grateful for, every night before bed, you're going to see big changes in your life. Just keep doing it. You're basically like a drip. You know, in the hospital they give you a drip. You're basically putting a drip of mental strength conditioning. So you're slowly strengthening your mind. Okay? Yeah, and the placebo thing is really an amazing thing. You know, now some of the most cutting edge leading therapies for cancer patients is it's all based on the belief system. It's all based on what we're talking about now, thoughts. This whole topic, by the way, my whole channel, this whole area of mental conditioning, rewiring your mind, it's not until recently that they discovered that until our, late in our life, whether it's our 80s, 90s, we have mental elasticity. Our brain is elastic. The elasticity of our brain is basically that our mind is able to mold and adapt even through to very late in our life. So rewiring our brain is basically like shaping our tool, our greatest tool of all, which is our mind, in a way that's going to serve us in life. So every time we have a negative thought, I'm never going to be happy, I'm never going to be successful, I'm never going to be rich, you're reinforcing that. You're brainwashing yourself into believing that. You are strengthening the negative part of your brain. Because I like to think of it as you have a positive part of your brain and a negative part of your brain. And we spend most of our time strengthening the negative part. And despite how much we do that every day, all day long, for years, decades, we're still here, we're still fighting, we're still pushing, we're still alive, and we're still so powerful. Why? Because we are energy generators, okay? So imagine if we got out of our own way. And that's what the meaning of getting out of your own way is when you stop this assault of negative self-talk, negative self-image, which is like how you view yourself, and you start to turn it around. You start to look at yourself in a better way, and you write it down, you say it, that I'm so grateful for being so full of power. And for me personally, I need to believe what I write. I can't just be like, I'm so grateful and thankful for being amazing, or I'm so grateful and thankful for being rich when I'm not rich. It's not really going to work. You have to say things that you believe. So for me, I know that I have potential to do anything I wish. Same with everyone out there. So I focus my gratefuls or affirmations on things that I can really believe. I'm not going to say stuff that I don't believe. So I'll be like, I'm so grateful and thankful for the power that is within me that grows stronger each day. What I'm actually telling myself is that I'm getting stronger each day. And it will happen. It will happen. All right? So step 1 of journaling is the gratefuls. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for before you go to bed. And another powerful strength of doing it just before you go to bed is that the last things you think of before you go to bed are very important because they're going to affect your dreams. And dreams are almost like an entire night of mental conditioning. Okay? So when you put in those positive thoughts before you go to sleep, you're going to have better dreams. Your mind's going to start to get full of the right types of thinking. If you go to bed and just before you go to bed you think of like how happy your ex is with someone else, you're going to have nightmares. You're going to dream of her all night long, or him, okay? And it's just going to be uncomfortable. So before you go to bed, do your gratefuls. To me, they're like prayers. It's like I'm so grateful for this and for that, and then I pray for my friends and family, and I send them good energy. And for me, praying is just visualizing health for them, visualizing health for myself, visualizing good things for the people I care about. Part 2 of journaling is counterbalancing. And this is what I just spent a session now with one of my clients on counterbalancing. Counterbalancing is so powerful, so powerful. And I highly recommend you all go out, buy a journal, and start this today. Before you go to bed, the 3 gratefuls, and then every day, write down 3 negative thoughts that you have. I'm sure there's going to be more than 3, but for now, just start off with 3. And a negative thought could be something like, my ex is happier with, is so happy now with how things are, doesn't care about me, doesn't love me. Okay? That's a negative thought. And a quick note on negative thoughts is it's hard to sometimes get the negative thoughts, to be aware of them. So the way we find them, the way we catch them, is by observing our emotions. So when you feel like shit, whether it's you feel empty, when you miss your ex, when you're depressed, whatever it could be. This doesn't have to do with breakups. It can be if you're going through, cancer or disease or lost your job, whatever. Whatever negative thoughts, whatever negative emotions you have, realize that those are being triggered by negative thoughts. So everything stems from thoughts. Okay? When you feel good, it's because of positive thoughts. So, when you feel like shit, try to write down the thought that's causing it. The thought could be, my ex never loved me and is happy now without me. Okay, and now you're going to have to counterbalance 3 positive counters to that negative thought. Actually, the first thing you do before you get into the counterbalances is you write down this question. So first in your journal, you write down the negative thought. Negative thought 1, my ex never loved me, blah, whatever, Next step, write down, does this thought serve me? No. Usually it's going to be a no. It's important to write that down because you're teaching yourself that these things do not help in any way. Then you get into your counterbalances. Counterbalance number 1. If the negative thought was, my ex is happy now without me and is happy with her new relationship, the first counterbalance could be something like, all the happiness that I need is within me, and I should not be depending, my happiness should not be dependent on someone else. My ex should not be the source of my happiness. I can only control myself. I cannot control her or him. They are now leading their own life, and I am focused on my own life. I have no control over them and what they do, and I don't know what they're thinking. All I can focus on is myself, my thoughts, and I know that all the happiness I require and need is within me. And when I create a stronger relationship with myself, I become happier and more confident. So that's pretty long. Obviously, it doesn't have to be that long. It can just be a paragraph. Now that's an example of a counterbalance. Then you want to do a second one. Okay, so the second one could be, the power and energy within me guides me each day, helps me feel stronger, and I am blessed that this has happened so that I can now create a relationship, reestablish a relationship with myself, because whether I'm with my ex or in a relationship or on my own, my happiness should be coming from within me, from my goals, from my life journey, not from another person, not from having someone else. Okay, so that's just two examples. You're going to have to come up with these yourself for, because the language you're going to use, it's got to make sense to you. So when you do this, what you're doing is you're training yourself to see the positive from a negative situation. And then when this negative thought pops up again, the same one pops up again when you're driving or you're at work, you're already going to know what counters to do because you've done it, you've journaled it, they're in your journal, okay? And when the negative thought comes up again, this time you can come up with maybe better because you've been thinking about it longer. So for me, when I started journaling, my first counter arguments weren't that good. But when I had that same negative thought again, I would re-journal it, and my positive counter arguments started getting better and better, more believable, more stronger, more powerful. And then when you write those counters down, you feel better, you feel more powerful instantly. And as I said, these are going to be your weapons to smash those negative thoughts. So you've got one negative thought, you're going to smash it with 3 positive thoughts. Okay? And then this is what we do. This is journaling. So every day you should have a page, and at the top half of the page should be 3 negative thoughts and their counterbalances. And don't forget to write down, does this thought help me in any way? Does this thought help me heal? Does this thought help me become more powerful? Okay? And then, before bed, 3 things you're grateful for. Okay? So these are the 2 primary journaling techniques that I prescribe and coach to everyone that I talk to, including I do this for myself. And do this religiously. Do this every day if you can. I think you should do this no less than 4 times. This is your training. If I'm training jiu-jitsu or going to the gym for my body, or whatever it is that I'm training, you have to also do it for your mind. You can't expect to heal or get better if you're not doing the work. If you're just kind of just laying around and letting your negative mind drag you around, make you think of your ex, make you miss your ex, make you think of how gorgeous she was or he was and how awesome life was with them, you're going to just suffer. So you've got to do the work. This is like going to the gym and pumping some iron. Every time you make a journal entry, it's like you're doing reps, weights for your mind, making your mind stronger. Okay, so that is this video I'm going to use again as a landing page for a lot of people. So when I get asked questions, I'm going to direct them to this video and also the previous video. And I think now is a good time to stop, since I'm being swallowed by the sun, slowly but surely, getting totally eaten up here. Whoa! It's kind of interesting. So do the work, do it a little bit. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's an astrophysicist, I think? Something like that. But you know who he is. He's the guy who's done, he's the astrologist, he's a very clever man. And I saw one of his interviews, and he was just talking in the interview about how most humans do not know how to use their mind. Talking about this topic of how we can condition our mind to help us learn, to help us with the things we need. Okay, so we neglect the most powerful tool that we have, which is our mind. We neglect it rather than training it. And as I say in a lot of my videos, I'm sort of a lazy person. So it's not going to be easy for me to do a lot of work every day. So I do a little bit every day. I do my gratefuls, and I do the counterbalancing. And the truth is that once you've been journaling for a while, like a year or a couple of years, you'll find that you no longer will need to actually journal it. It will just be, you'll be able to do it in your mind. So when a negative thought comes, you'll be aware of it, and then you'll immediately have memorized all the counters for it. Right on, everybody. Look, there's more to life than relationships, so don't be so bummed out about all that's going on, okay? Remember, you're just focusing on what's happening, and that's natural, it's fine. It's because your body, your mind is trying to process what's happened so that it can learn, take away some good stuff, and then use that to help you in the future. So it's okay that you're suffering. It's okay that you're going through all of this. Don't worry about it. It's going to fade out. And all of these things I'm talking about, if you watch the first video, which was about self-love and no contact, if you watch this video, which is all about journaling, if you apply all this stuff, you're going to speed up your healing. And if you apply all this stuff for life, you're going to just power yourself up ridiculously. Kind of like how I'm turning into the Sun Man right now. Rah! All right. See you later, guys. And if you have any questions, as always, leave them down below. And I look forward to making more videos soon. All right. Adios for now.